Welcome back to episode 157 of Frederick Advice Givers. To my right this week, I have Hope Bigler with Undone. She has got a very unique product in business here in Pennsylvania that I am thrilled to share with you guys today. I have never heard about kombucha. Did I say it right?
You did.
I've never heard about kombucha before. So she was giving me in the pre-interview like the backstory and how do you make it and how do you ferment, and she's got a beautiful facility here, and it's really unique. I think you're going to enjoy this interview. It's kind of a combination of like a craft brewery and a health shake.
Yeah.
Is that kind of
craft brewery, healthy? Yep.
Okay, perfect. So welcome to 157. Hope, before we get into your business, give us your backstory, who you are, what drives you.
Yeah, absolutely. First, thank you, Eric, for the opportunity to share. And thank you, Dawn, also for connecting me with Eric. This journey started about 3 summers ago.
Okay.
I walked through a really devastating season of life, and I walked through divorce, and anyone that has been through divorce, it's essentially feels like death. And I have 2 children, 2 daughters, who are wonderful, but it was the lowest point in my life. I was reading a lot, and I had this conversation. It was in July of 2015. I had this conversation with God about all of the brokenness, all the broken dreams, everything I thought that I wanted my life to look like. It didn't look anything like I ever dreamed it would. So he reminded me of a book I read. So I pull out this book and just like reminded myself, okay, this is what is true. This is what is true. That night, this vision for a kombucha brewery is like drops in my spirit, which was so bizarre because I had never made kombucha and I didn't even like it. I had tried a friend's homebrew kombucha, but it was more like, oh, I should try to learn to like this because it's really good for me. So all these thoughts in seconds are going through my head, and I'm just like, well, what do you even call it?
Right.
And it was just like Undone in that moment. And it represented like the really hard season that I was walking through. But it also, to me, and I was thinking like, well, kombucha is considered raw when it's not pasteurized. So it had a multi-layer meaning.
Okay.
And that was July of 2015. I thought it was crazy. I'm like, certainly I must have made that up. I don't know anything about brewing. I've never made kombucha. But I couldn't sleep for a couple nights. So then I finally had the courage to share the vision with family and friends and a mentor. And I'll never forget, my mentor said, it's so crazy. It has to be God. So that's how it started. That's really how it started.
And then why did you choose, we're in downtown Chambersburg.
Yes, we are in Chambersburg.
So why did you choose this location?
So shout out to Orchards and Michael Calathis, Orchards restaurant here in Chambersburg. That's where I got started. I was certified using a shared kitchen license out of his restaurant.
Okay.
And I brewed at that restaurant for the first year. While the restaurant was closed, I would brew in the morning. And Michael and the team there were so gracious and generous with their space and time. I got my start then downtown at North Square Farmers Market here in Chambersburg. And we were overwhelmed by being so well received by the community. The community just kind of like surrounded us with so much support. And that's where we got our start and our roots here in Chambersburg. And so that's where we're growing.
Awesome. So 15 minutes ago, I had no idea what kombucha was.
Right.
So explain to us, our audience, what kombucha is, and then I've got a few samples I'm going to try here.
Okay, awesome. Yes. Kombucha is essentially fermented tea. That's the simplest definition. And like I was telling Eric, it's one of those age-old ferments that has been passed around the globe for centuries, similar to sauerkraut. So it starts as sweet tea. We use organic teas and organic sugar, and you add a kombucha culture, also known as a SCOBY, and the culture is what drives the fermentation process. A lot of people ask questions about the sugar content and why do you need to use sugar. Essentially, the sugar is food for the culture. So the culture eats the sugar and
Right.
turns that into the healthy acids and enzymes. Now, there is a residual amount of sugar left after the initial fermentation, so it's still palatable and doesn't
Okay.
taste like vinegar. But I don't have an official lab analysis done at this point yet on my brews, but typically the range is about 5 grams to 10 grams of sugar per 8-ounce serving of kombucha.
And it's
So
basically non-alcoholic.
it is. It's non-alcoholic.
Okay.
Yes, it's a similar fermenting process to beer or wine, but our kombucha is non-alcoholic. So my daughters love it, and it's filled with probiotics because of the fermentation process. So it's really awesome for your digestive health. Filled with vitamins and minerals, so it can be energizing and detoxifying. So
We have some samples here
yes,
that I want
some
to
samples.
I want to taste.
Okay.
Explain to me what I'm tasting as I'm tasting them.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
I will kind of start with maybe like the sweeter, more fruity blends.
Okay.
And then get to more of our herbal non-fruity. So this first one is wild guava, which is actually made with organic dried wild guava. So
Okay. It's almost like a juice.
Tastes like a juice?
Yeah, like an apple juice, or it doesn't have the apple flavor,
right.
but the consistency.
The guava makes it like a little sweeter than just like a straight herbal blend. So if you're new to kombucha, typically people do kind of gravitate towards the fruity ones because kombucha can be an acquired taste. So
Well, it's kind of like when I started drinking beer, you start with Miller Lite, or when you started drinking wine, you start with the fruitier or the lighter one, right? And then
the lighter one.
You work your palate up, right?
Yes, you work your palate.
Okay.
You got it. This is called Sassy Beet. So
Sassy Beet.
The red raspberries are organic red raspberries. Give the sassy to the beet.
So this is sweeter to me.
Raspberries, is that too sweeter?
Sweeter or fruitier?
Yeah,
I guess.
fruity.
Fruitier.
Yeah, the raspberries definitely.
I like that one. I like Sassy Beet.
All right, Sassy Beet's a good one. Okay, this is a seasonal spiced cider. So this is actually made with local apple cider.
That's.
Can
Yeah,
you taste the apple
tastes
flavor?
like apple cider.
Awesome.
Exactly, yes.
That has some clove and cardamom spices as well.
And so these are meant to be consumed cold, hot,
yes,
warm? Okay.
Cold,
Okay.
ice cold.
Okay.
Ice cold from the tap.
Okay.
You can find kombucha in bottles in stores. Right now, we're not bottling. We strictly serve kombucha out of the tap. So it's fresh and ice cold. Okay, this one is lavender lemongrass. So this is straight herbal, lavender flowers and lemongrass, no fruit.
Okay. Yeah, this is I'm out in the field,
Right.
You can get a lot of, and I guess this is how people do with the wine tastings. You can get a lot of smelling.
Aromatic.
Yes. You can get a lot.
Awesome. I'm glad you can smell the goodies. And then finally, this one is ginger mint. So dried ginger root and mint leaves are in that one.
All right, so before I taste this one, are there specific ones that are better for digestive, better for energy, or is it like a base where they're all, and then are we just dealing with flavors? Do you know what I'm asking?
Yes,
I
know what you mean.
Okay.
Yes, I know what you mean. All of them are kombucha and will give you the probiotic energizing properties.
Is that ginger?
Yes.
That one's pretty strong.
Now, if just like, ginger has benefits in and of itself, so those can be added benefits to the brews. So lavender is very calming, so that would set that brew apart a little bit from the other ones. We talked about the ginger and the mint. So yes.
So how many do you have on tap at a time?
On tap here, we always have 4 different flavors.
Okay.
So most of our retailers have 2 at a time, 2 options. If we're serving at markets or events, we usually have 2.
Awesome. All right, so I want to take this back to a human level real quick. So what's the last purchase that you splurged on for yourself or your family?
Oh, I'm kind of a collect moments, not things kind of girl. So probably our last splurge was we took our whole extended family went. My parents and my sister and her family and my girls and I went to Disney at Christmas.
Awesome.
So it was.
How old are your girls?
They were 5 and 8 when we
Okay,
went.
that's a great age.
It was. We had a wonderful time. The weather was amazing. So.
Was the 5-year-old able to make it through the day?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, she did awesome.
We took my youngest, I think he was 3 or 4 when we went for the first time, and it was a disaster. I was carrying him like 80% of the time.
He was so tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was not fun, but we went in about the same age, 5 and 8, and that was a really good time.
Yes, that's
awesome. So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So, what hobby or interest, Hope, could you spend hours doing?
I'm kind of a book nerd. I definitely love to read, but I also love cooking and eating.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Probably one
cooking
of those.
And eating.
Yeah, 3 things.
I'm sure that's how you met Dawn, because Dawn loves to eat.
Okay.
When you wake up in the morning, what's that fuel inside of you? Like, what drives you? So this is what you do?
This is what I do. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so you're here every day,
every day,
overlooking some sort of the process.
Yeah, pretty much production or making deliveries to retailers.
Okay. So what's your why? Or what drives you?
So my why, waking up in the morning, I think being part of a vision that's bigger than myself.
Okay.
It's an honor to have the opportunity to be part of something bigger than yourself. And so knowing this vision, why do you start a business? Well, you need to make money to have a business, but it's really not about the money.
Right.
It's more about the impact and thinking about the generations to come and the impact that I can have in my daughter's lives and in generations to come, and the legacy to leave. So
awesome. Totally agree with that. Yeah, it's not what you do on a day-to-day basis. It's kind of like, what legacy can you leave for your kids?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I have 2 boys, you have 2 girls. It doesn't matter how much kombucha you sell.
Right.
It's it's whose lives you
exactly.
affect. Awesome.
100%.
All right, so you had this vision in the fall of 2015.
Yeah.
Correct? So what piece of advice would you give to another business owner or entrepreneur who is just starting out that you have seen work well?
Wow, I have had a huge learning curve. So I've learned so much, but probably it's like the one asset would be just your own perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You're definitely going to have setbacks and obstacles, but I think the tool that I'm just trying to refine the most is, instead of seeing an obstacle, seeing an opportunity. Instead of seeing a problem, seeing a possibility. So that is what I would encourage any entrepreneur or business person. Just really try to shift your perspective to see where you can find the possibility and the opportunity.
That's great. So I actually wrote about that yesterday.
Oh my gosh!
I write what's called a morning musing. So I write a musing every day, and it's like there's the one thing that's constant in life is change.
Right.
Right. And it's really what your reaction to that change is. So when an ending happens, are you looking at it as an ending, which I think would be the pessimistic view, or are you looking at that as a potential new beginning, which I think is the optimistic view? So like when you're going through turmoil or life change or something, yes, but let's look forward. Let's not look back.
Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome.
So awesome. All right, Hope. On the flip side of a good piece of advice, what is maybe the one thing, or maybe it's a multitude of things that have occurred over the 3 years that maybe you had this vision and you thought it was going to go A, B, C, and maybe it went A, C, B. Like, so what maybe happened that didn't align like you thought it was going to align in the beginning?
Yeah, I think when you have a vision, it's like you're given the big picture, but a lot of times I think what would be nice is if we were kind of told, okay, this is the next step you should take. But
welcome to the entrepreneurial world.
Right. It's, for me, that's not how it happened. I had to step out, and I have to keep stepping out. And
stepping out of your comfort zone? Stepping out of what? Okay.
Stepping out of my comfort zone, stepping out when I don't really know what it might look like or where the next step will be, but I know I need to take this step. So it hasn't gone the way that you initially planned, but I think being able to be flexible and kind of roll with, you step out, but if that doesn't work, then you're willing to go this direction and try this. And getting a building, and this building sat empty for 5 years.
Okay.
So this was a challenge in itself. That we ran into, oh, that didn't really work out the way we thought it would.
Right.
So let's go to plan C, D, E. But holding the vision is what keeps you going, knowing like, hey, this vision was totally, divine inspiration. The Lord gave me this vision, and there's a plan. So I'll find it.
Awesome.
We'll keep trying.
Awesome. So Hope, I've sat across the microphone from 156 other entrepreneurs, business owners, and thought leaders, and I learn a lot by asking questions. So I want to flip the script and have you ask me a question.
Awesome. Let's see. One question. That's one question.
You can build on it if you
Okay.
like, but yeah.
Who is one of your heroes?
So obviously my parents.
Yeah.
You know, I get my mom. She's amazing. She knows everybody. She's just has the most positive attitude of anybody that I've probably ever met. Anybody that's met Cookie, I think, can attest to that. That my mom is just so amazing. And the work ethic, well, from both my parents, but my dad, really got my work ethic from my dad. And I think in business, it comes down to core values. My cousin who passed away, who was like a brother to me, is definitely somebody that I looked up to and still look up to.
Wow.
He was a month and a day older than me. Business-wise, there's people that, Ryan Fletcher, Gary Vaynerchuk, there's people that I look up to business-wise, but I think all that's it's not superficial.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely gives you direction on where you want to take your business,
Right.
but it all starts with the core values that hopefully make my parents proud and make my cousin proud. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Cool.
Good question. Good question. So this kind of almost builds on the last question. I kind of have an idea of where you're going to go with this answer, but let's see if I'm right.
Okay.
Let's see how good I am on reading people. So what failure or loss has helped mold you and set you up to the person that you are today?
It's a good question. Definitely walking through divorce. It was a personal loss that was just devastating. And so when you're at that place, family meant everything to me. So when you're at a place where it feels like you've lost everything, you get comfortable being uncomfortable and learning to trust. You learn who you are. You learn more about who God is. And I think it takes away the fear of failure, because having walked through what I've walked through, it's like, who cares if you fail at business?
Right.
What you have, what matters most, and that's people in your life, family, the people you love. So I think it's given me freedom to take a risk, to not be afraid to try.
Right.
Because what's the worst that could happen?
And so what did you do before this?
Before this, I was a photographer, a portrait photographer.
Okay.
Before Kombucha. So I worked with a lot of wonderful clients, mostly high school senior girls.
Okay.
And a friend and I would shoot weddings together. So I did get to work with wonderful couples as well. But
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. So, you've always that's being a business owner in itself,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Being a photographer.
Right.
Okay. So you've always kind of had that entrepreneurial spirit. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Greencastle.
Okay.
Family's in Greencastle. Shout out to my family. They're amazing. Wouldn't be here without their support. My parents, my sister. And my brother-in-law. Don't want to leave him out. Yeah, I feel like I have worked multiple businesses working for myself, but it was only just me working for myself.
Okay.
It was never, I never had, a team or employees or anything like that. So this feels much crazier. Like I've
Right.
got a lot to learn, versus
Exactly.
my previous business experience.
Where do you see yourself in 3 years and then in 10 years?
Wow. Dreaming big. In 3 years, I would love to see that we are, beyond the borders of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
In 10 years, I would love to see us impacting the next generation, teaching them how business can be used as a force for good. And so, yeah, I've got big dreams, some audacious dreams. But
Awesome. Awesome. So now's the time to give the plug. Where are you located? How do we get hold of you if they want to try some kombucha?
Yes.
Give
Awesome.
us.
Okay, so our brewery is located here in Chambersburg. Our address is 3385 Wayne Road, Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, 17202. You can connect with us on Facebook and Instagram. You can also find us on the web at undonekombucha.com. And the web.
Spell that, please.
Yes, let me spell it for you. UNDONEKOMBUCHA.com. The web has our listing of all of our retailers where you can find our kombucha.
Okay.
So I know Chambersburg is a little outside of Frederick. Greencastle maybe is the closest Pure and Simple cafe for anyone coming from like Frederick, Hagerstown area. So, but the website has our full listing of where you can find us on tap.
Awesome. And you were telling me about an event you do here every month?
Yes, every fourth Saturday. If your schedule's free, we'd love for you to join us 10 to 2 every fourth Saturday. We call it Rawsome Saturday. And we have a food truck come and set up, and you can get lunch and kombucha. We usually do specials on fills. We had barbecue in August, and this month we're having Pizza Llama, some wood-fired pizza. So every fourth Saturday.
Do you have October's date?
Yes, yep. October 27th.
So this will be out before. Okay, so October 27th.
Yes.
And then every fourth.
Every fourth after.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Listeners, viewers, I hope you enjoyed Hope's interview
Thank
today
you
as much
so
as I did.
much.
You're awesome.
Thanks
for joining us today.
Thank you.
And we are out.